Hiya, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Yo, guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan.
Hey, guys, this is John Karabi.
Hey, guys, it's Leva Leone.
What's up, guys? Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
What's up, everybody? It's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey, this is Cody Howell.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
That is us. Howdy. I am TBT. That guy over there is Ace. You, what did you just do? How fitting is that? As you listen, you are actually listening to the 100th episode of the Weekly Pour podcast. I don't know how, but here we are, 100 episodes later. That's all we got.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think we've been far.
I don't even remember. It's probably good. I don't even remember episode 1. I don't want to remember episode 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 5 or 6.
No, it didn't go that far, but
okay.
That was rough.
It was. That's what happens when you're new. You don't know what's going on. You have no idea. It's kind of like tonight. We start this, and the platform we use to do this shoots it out all over the globe to everybody except for apparently Facebook. So we're normally live on Facebook, but I'm getting an error message saying that it didn't go. So yeah, here we are, only on the YouTubes live tonight.
Is this part of the global shutdown that we had?
You know what?
Is this part of that?
Maybe. I don't know.
I was on vacation for that, but so I missed all the big problems. But
a lot of banks were hit, which meant that people didn't get paid if your payday was on a Friday. Where we work, some of the people that bank with a specific bank locally, they didn't get paid for a while.
Yeah, I saw your email about that.
Oh, yes. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I got paid. Did you get paid?
I got paid.
Then there we go. That's all that really mattered.
That's what matters. I mean,
yeah. Let's see. Like I said, we are going good on YouTube. If you're watching this live, who's in there right now? Sandra's in the chat. Natalie, of course, our moderator's in the chat. Lou is jumping in from Michigan. Very good to see you, Mr. Lou. Appreciate it. So yeah, here we are. I was doing a little reminiscing earlier today, and I think I sent you a list, and I think I said in memorial, in memory of.
Right. In memory of. Like everyone died.
Right. So I put this list together of different guests that we've had on this show. It was a lot longer than what I thought it was going to be. That's what she said.
It was a lengthy list.
It was. And I have it in front of me. I sent it to you, and it's impressive, I think, for us. Hi, Shannon. Glad that you could make it into the chat as well. Welcome back from the Great White North. Whoa, yeah, by the way, welcome home, because you're in your normal place.
Right.
And not on the road anymore. Back to this list.
I got it right in front of me.
It is a potpourri of people. Like, it is a complete mix of everything.
Well, if you remember early on, and I'm still not opposed to any good guests, but we were trying anything.
Right.
We were trying anything to see what we could come up with that we liked. Yeah, and the therapy twins, I almost forgot about that one.
See? That's what I'm saying. The list, going back to the beginning, therapy twins.
And God bless those two. That was a very informative and deep discussion.
It
But
was.
I think we were depressed at the end of it.
But I felt therapized.
Did you?
I did.
I
I
think I
felt
needed more therapy after it.
we really should get them on again, just so they can see where we're at now, and we can see where they're at, because we couldn't even get the layout right. I mean,
No, that's the one where you couldn't get both of them in the same frame.
yeah, let's not even let anybody watch that one over.
It was dark. It was fuzzy. That was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. It was. Kathy officially has been on twice. Kathy with Music and More Records, one of our sponsors. She's essentially been on twice officially. Unofficially, like 12.
Just whenever she jumps in when I'm up there.
Yeah, she has that. She just does that. Her first, I'm pretty sure the very first episode that she was ever in, where people actually got to see who she was over a year ago.
Right.
I got to try to put it together. Oh my gosh, I just pulled that up. Your background looks like a shower curtain.
Oh, that's we did that at the store.
That was the red shower curtain.
Yeah, we did that at the store.
Yeah. When was that? That was August 2nd of 2022. So that's almost 2 years ago. We're within 2 weeks where she was on there. And that was her first introduction. And then it just snowballed from there when she made 11 more appearances.
But that was a cool one. 11 more. That was a cool one because we learned a lot about, the vinyl industry, the resurgence in vinyl,
right?
What she sells, how she sells, what to look for when we're buying vinyl. It was a pretty informative episode, I thought.
Yeah, kind of like the stuff that she can get versus what she can't get and why she may not be able to get it. Very good. That was an hour and a half. An hour and a half that we spent. We probably could have done at least 4 more. It was probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks later. We had Sarah Jaree on. If you remember Sarah, she was the teacher turned fired turned OnlyFans person. She was a great guest. She was fun. I think that was our first controversial, if you will, but it was in the news, and we got her on.
Right, and that's our biggest one.
It is.
It is.
Well, what does that tell you? Sex sells. Yeah. Right. See, we didn't even rehearse that. We knew that.
I don't have a subscription to OnlyFans or anything like that, but I do wonder because she talked about her subscriptions for her page there.
Right.
We're at when she started and they start drifting down and they trend down. One reason she was making the rounds was trying to stabilize that and get her name out there.
Exactly.
So I wonder if it's kept going or not. I mean, we're a year or more.
Have her on my socials, like Instagram. Let's pull her up real quick. I'm going to do that.
That's the interesting thing to me in the sense of what that platform is that so many people do it that you just, as a consumer, you have your choice. You pick and choose.
Yeah, exactly. 2 hours ago, she made a post on Instagram. 7 hours ago, 21 hours ago. So she's very active on there. And she currently has 29,500 followers on Instagram alone. She has labeled herself as a digital creator. Let's see what else. Still hailing from the big O town of South Bend, Indiana. She has Threads, which I guess is the Twitter for Instagram. 5,000 followers on that one, but that's new. That's not surprising. But yeah, I don't know where she's at OnlyFans wise, but I guess I'll just have to check and see. Right? That's fair. Right. I don't know. It was after her a couple of weeks later, I think it was, that we got the Therapy Twins on. and that was an hour and 15 minutes of pure chaotic depression and therapy. But I liked those girls. They were fun.
Well, and they were funny. That was their whole
Yes.
point, was being funny.
Right.
You know,
Exactly. And look,
and not
Kathy
take
shows up
so serious.
and she says, repeat what we've said. Kathy, the only part that you need to know that I've said is that you officially were on this show almost 2 years ago to the day, within 2 weeks. And you've officially been a guest, I think, twice, unofficially 12 times. So, yeah. It was probably 2 to 3 weeks after we had the therapy twins on that we got our first, we'll call it rock star. Someone that Kathy actually got us hooked up with the right people to, to get her with, or to get with her. And that was Cassandra Carson from Paralandra and Life Project. That one was fun.
That was a lot of fun. And, that was someone who is current, very current in the rock scene, with Paralandra and the Live Project, and still out there touring, and just released a record. And we just had her on talking about it not very long ago. Cassandra's a great guest. A great guest. Did we have her on before Leather?
Did we?
I don't think so. I think Leather was first. She was our first.
She was. But, and I could be wrong, but I don't think, was Leather? I don't remember if Leather was live or not.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. 2 years ago, is when we had Leather. So, and that was episode 12.
Well, what was great about that is that we were going to do that on a Sunday afternoon, live. And you and I had spent over a week delving into Chastain and her solo records and all things Leather, right? And we get her hooked up live, and she's on her porch in the San Francisco Bay, eating potato chips with her dogs, and we can't get a connection for shit. We can't get anything. We have to abort mission and then reconnect. I think we did it maybe a week later.
That's about right. That's about right.
Yeah. And in her apartment or house or whatever, inside, a little more focused, because Leather can't sit still.
I'm looking at it right now, and she's all over the place.
Right, she's all over the place. But she, the first time with her was great because we were getting introduced into something we did not know much about, which was her career, and not only that, what happened after she left Chastain, because she disappeared for years, just off the face of the earth, basically, and then made a big comeback.
Yeah. It wasn't too long. She's always ADD. So it wasn't too long after that, I guess, because this all mixed up. This is episode 10, 20, 29, where you and I, we wanted to learn how to play a very popular game. And we had Michelle Thompson on, if you remember Michelle.
Right.
That was a dive into the American Cornhole League because it was interesting. I don't remember how we got hooked up with her.
Well, the American Cornhole League, but not only that, she is the broadcaster for it for ESPN.
Right.
So this is a national or worldwide view type of show that she could potentially be on. And that was really what was interesting, is that, she's the person announcing this stuff.
Yeah. I still don't understand how you announce cornhole.
Exactly. How do you announce cornhole? But what fascinated us was the prize money and how good these people were.
Yeah.
I mean, this was serious business. But remember, she had the controversy where someone got kicked out, suspended, or whatever because they had illegal bags. Remember that?
Their sack was illegal, and it was bad when they were putting the sack in the hole. It's totally wrong.
Terrible.
Can't do it. Yeah, that was fun. Obviously, I don't think we've had a not fun show. Everything's been fun because I think we're learning something different. The listeners are learning something, and it's just it is literally a potpourri of guests, a cornhole, rock stars, country music, performers, which leads me to a little bit after Michelle. We had Reggie on. I love Reggie. Reggie, I've loved her for years. Reggie Boo Mouche, and if you need to know how to spell that, it is Bug Muncher. That's how it's spelled. It's got the little hoopty doops.
And you don't have to do it, obviously. But what the fans are missing is your impression of Reggie that you do.
I do it every week. Every
week.
Yeah. Well, see, when the intro's playing, we're muted, so we can still talk smack. And yeah, every time that comes up, I have to do the impression followed by unmuting us so that you can hear us whenever we come on. But yeah, I'm not doing it. Not happening. I'll do it next Tuesday when we're muted. A close family affair for me just a couple weeks after Reggie, which Reggie was fun. Reggie was talking about, if you haven't watched that show or listened to it, go back. It's episode 31, I think it is, with Reggie Boo Mouche. She performs at numerous, circuses, freak shows, different things like that, tattoo conventions, and she can do some of the most insane things, and it's very entertaining. She talks about a lot of this stuff, but she also does a lot of stuff to help out her community.
What show was she on as a contestant?
The Gong Show.
That was it. The Gong Show.
Yeah, you can actually YouTube that and you can find it. It's there. Made it a family affair a few episodes later when Lil TBT would join us. That was the night of the Spirit Box.
Right.
So she had to tell us all that story, and that was fun.
That was great, too, because we got a lengthy conversation out of her.
Yeah.
And it was all good.
That was the most conversation I had gotten out of her in 20 years. Yeah. Kathy just said, is the term freak show controversial? Nope.
No, I think that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's never mind. Yeah. Natalie says, Spirit Box Night was so fun. And look, who happens to be in the chat, Lil TBT, says Spirit Box needs a comeback. It will, because here's breaking news. Lil TBT is moving back.
Home?
Not to my house. Hell no.
Oh, okay.
She's moving back here, but not here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm changing them locks. But yeah, so when she shows up, we will see if we can do this live.
Well, that's the thing. So when we had her on, she was conveying the experience she had with the Spirit Box. And then we were so intrigued that we gathered a group together. We assembled at, Casa TVT, and we tried the Spirit Box. We even tried to record it. That was difficult. We didn't get it done, but we did have an episode where we discussed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or my bad.
I think it was. It was recorded on a GoPro.
Yes, on a GoPro.
It didn't work out right, but we've advanced. How long ago was that? That was a year ago. We've advanced so much technologically that we can do it. We can do it. We'll do it live. Screw recording it. We'll just do it live.
That's probably the best way.
Yeah, and we'll make everybody watch. That'd be fun. We then had Leather on again. Leather Part 2. Leather 2.0.
Right, because she was releasing the second second or third solo record,
Right.
and we wanted to follow up and see how that experience was for her.
Didn't that one end abruptly with her?
That one ended so strangely because we were in the middle of a conversation, and she's like, "I gotta go. I gotta feed the dogs or something." She was at a shelter, an animal shelter.
I don't know. It was 47 minutes in, 47, 48 minutes in or whatever. And she's just like, oh, I like tacos. Gone. And then we finished the next 15 minutes like, that was fun, which was great. I mean, it's Leather. If you know Leather the way we do after, talking to her so much, that's not unexpected.
No. And it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I would totally have her on again just because she's so fun to talk to. Her energy level is just off the charts. And I'm not even going to say anything about her age, but I hope I have that much energy when I'm that age, because she's just she's a rock star.
Well, and she's getting her wish too, because I think she toured South America.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was something she wanted to do because she had been so popular down there with her solo stuff in Chastain and the big crowds you get in South America. So she got to.
Well, it wasn't too late after that, or not too long after that, that we got probably at the time the biggest rock star that we could ever imagine after a few emails back and forth. And someone that we knew from, back in the day that we really wanted to try to get some info from. And that's when we were able to book John Corabi.
Right. That was so good.
That's one I could watch or listen to all the time. Just laid back, cool guy. Didn't mind talking about whatever. We talked about his solo stuff. We talked about the crew, and all that, because there was a lot of stuff, starting to slowly float around about Motley Crue and stuff going on. And
this was around the time the Mick Mars lawsuit had come out.
Yeah.
Because we asked him. I'm not sure if the suit was out yet, but he had just been ousted from Motley Crue, and we asked John, because John is close with Mick, if he's even heard from him.
Right.
And he hadn't heard from him in weeks, and he was a little concerned because they kept in touch. So that was neat to hear that. It was he was promoting his book, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, plus some solo stuff he was doing at the time. Now he's back with the Dead Daisies. But yeah, it was great. I was surprised how much Motley Crue content we got out of him, because I thought those stories were all done, but no, he's got tons of stories.
Well, and here's the thing too: rock stars, or whatever you want to call them, a lot of their time is money. He was calling us or chiming in from his house, just down from the airport. So there's planes flying. And, usually they tell us at the beginning, or we tell them, hey, we try to keep the show at an hour. If you have to go sooner, we understand. No big deal. We just appreciate you, jumping in with us. Corabi was at an hour and 40 minutes before we finally cut it. And I was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, right. Because he could have kept going.
Yeah. And we could have too, but, we don't want to overextend that friendliness, or he's like, yeah, I'm not going back to those guys again. One of the cool things, I don't think we ever told anybody this, but he told us that we were allowed to name drop him, because we were asking him off the air, hey, what can we do? Who can we talk to maybe get some better guests? He gave us a couple contacts and said, tell him I sent you, name drop me. And it was like, we didn't even ask that. He was just like, here, go ahead. And it worked out a couple times.
Yeah. And he's that type of guy. Things I've heard and read is he's just that type of guy. Shirt off your back, help anyone out. I heard a story not that long ago where he had, was in a bar after a show that he did, and people would come up and sit, and he would hold court drinking beer and telling stories right there in the bar. That kind of guy.
Yeah. So now we just have to get him down here close. John Corabi, that was that was season 2, the second episode of season 2. Was a year ago. And then we went a couple weeks with nobody. And then we got hit in the face again with another rock star. Billy Sheehan joined us, and I didn't think that I got spoiled. I got spoiled with Corabi, and then jumping in with Billy Sheehan, spoiled again. I mean, who sits around just doing an interview with, with his bass? Just,
right.
Sitting with him, sitting there, strumming it, playing it. Couldn't hear nothing, but who cares? The dude's sitting in his recliner or at his chair at his computer, and he's just chit chatting like we're freaking neighbors.
Remember, he was late. He was late.
Yeah.
Is he on Central Time? Is he on our time? What time is he on?
Yeah. That's one of the great pleasures of us being where we're at, and then trying to get with, celebrities that are West Coast or East Coast or whatever coast. But he was fun. Shared a lot of information, a lot of history. I mean, he has a lot of history.
I remember distinctly, though, we blew our reactions because we were caught off guard, because I think we were one of the first where he announced that Mr. Big was ending it.
Right.
And I distinctly remember he says this. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the last tour for Mr. Big. And you said something to the point of, just ended it, huh?
Just let the cat out of the bag, did you?
This is a huge band. And they're getting ready to do their last tour, and we're both just kind of oh, did he say something important? We didn't know how to react.
Yeah, you couldn't pause. Hold on a second. Did he say that? But so, he had lots of good stuff. As we continue to recap, I can you know what it is when you're like, oh, never mind. I'm not even going to mention it. Up and coming bands are important. There are some that we end up listening to. We get emails and stuff from production companies, whatever you want to call them, promoters, producers, and they're like, hey, check these out. Let us know if you would want to do an interview with somebody. And we got a lot of stuff from one guy in regards to the band All the Pretty Things.
Right.
So we ended up making contact, and we got Logan Tabor, who's the vocalist for All the Pretty Things. And let me tell you, his intro that he recorded for us, all-time favorite. None will top that. I mean, it'll we'll get somebody like super duper ridiculously famous. It'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. It will still never top Logan's.
That might have been the most fun I've had with a guest, because you and I just busted his balls all night.
Yeah.
For an hour.
He took it.
And he took it.
Well, he gave it back a little bit too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, which was good. I think the good thing is when we start these off, we tell them, say, look, we don't know what the hell we're doing. So just, answer questions. Tell us your stories. But that was like the beginning of us getting like up and coming people.
Yeah.
And as everybody knew, this was through, I don't know, 70 some episodes, I guess, rock stars or cornhole coaches or freak show performers or record store owners. That was for you, Kathy. And then, and of course, little TBT. But then we get to, let's do an author. Someone who's wrote a book, give them some exposure, someone we were both familiar with. And we ended up with Kelly Cosgrove.
Right. And that was actually fun, because we got to hear about the writing process for his book, which he had just put out on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and that sort of thing, in a digital format and a physical copy.
Right.
So he is in the middle of a second book right now, working on. So that was fun. It was fun to talk to him for the whole hour about the writing process and that sort of thing. And I think we delved into some other things too, which
I'm sure.
that's the best part sometimes, because we don't know where the conversations are going to go. So
Dude, we don't know where our conversations are going to go every Tuesday, guest or not. I mean, it's true. We went for a after Kelly. I'm not going to say we hit a dry spell. There's no such thing as a dry spell, because a lot of times we just can't reach out to people. They're busy. This is a perfect example. Is the time of the year we're in? Bands are touring. A lot of times they can't take a time out on a Tuesday at 7:00 Eastern to call in and do a show, especially live. Live's a little bit different. If you can record something, then sure. And I think we've recorded something once when we had a guest. And of course, that's not on my list of the videos that I'm looking at now. But for the fans of Steel Heart, we took an afternoon during the weekday to get together, and we got Milienko, the lead singer for Steel Heart, to show up and do what? Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. What a great interview. Down to earth guy. He was pressed for time because he was doing a press tour.
Right.
But to take 30-40 minutes out of that tour, the way I was thinking at the time, to talk to us, I thought it was pretty cool. Everybody knows podcasts are the thing now. Everybody wants to do podcasts. But him stopping by and giving us this info and telling us about his past and what's coming on with Steel Heart, because we found out that he was redoing a lot of the hits and re-recording and re-releasing, and he sort of broke that he had a special guest singer on his album, his daughter, to sing Angel Eyes. And sure enough, it was released, came out, and it was awesome.
Right. He did several of the big Steel Heart hits. He redid Everybody Loves Eileen, which I love that song.
One of my favorites.
We jammed that one like the whole week.
Yeah.
Prior to that.
Probably going to jam it tonight after this show. Because it's so good.
But he was personal. I liked that. He was personable. He didn't act too big to talk to us.
Right. Well, then your dreams started coming true. And I'm sure that it's Wes's as well. When we started getting some old school guys in, and we started it off with Mike Levine from Triumph.
Right.
Blew my mind.
That was a great interview, because they were releasing the Allied Forces 40th anniversary or something like that.
Right.
Something like that. So we were talking to him about that, but we got some stories from him that I didn't know anything about. And I'm a huge Triumph fan. You know that.
Yeah. Stuff that wasn't in a book.
Exactly. Stuff that wasn't in a book. And some insight into some of the dynamics with producers they've worked with. And, it was the US Tour. That's what we were talking about. The US Tour. They were re-releasing the DVD.
Yeah.
So, Mike was great. But what was really cool was, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but we had another guest in that band with a different perspective.
Right.
On some of that stuff.
And as Natalie put it, that was your best day ever, because you were fangirling like crazy.
It was bad. She don't even know, because
because we talked after the show.
After the show, didn't Mike, after my gushing was getting too much, get up and just leave? Didn't he just get up and leave?
Well,
I got
I think his I don't want to call him his handler, but I think his handler was like, "Hey, it's past bedtime. You got to go." And Ace was there, just like, "No, don't go,
no.
please." And then he left. One thing I never thought we would do, and that was even before we ever started this uh, adventure that we call the Weekly Poor Podcast. I never thought that we'd go country. Never thought it.
No. You're not the biggest country fan, so
Correct.
that's something that maybe you never thought you'd cross that line. But when we're trying to get guests, uh, you got to be open to anything, right?
Yeah. And it goes back to helping the new performers get a little bit more exposure. And that's exactly what happened when we ended up getting Frank Fletcher on the show. Uh, Frank is still touring. I'm
Right.
following all of his socials. He's still touring, doing lots of dates in the South. He's putting out music, here and there. There's a song here, there's a song there. And that kind of opened the door for us for a couple other guests. One of which was probably maybe 2 weeks later, and we ended up getting Mark McKay. Um, Again,
Yeah.
another one that I'm all over their socials with, because
Mark,
yeah, he could be an intellectual conversation for hours. He
right,
reminds me of an attorney that you and I both know that wears glasses and his ears are a little messed up, but you could have a conversation with him for hours just intellectually. And Mark McKay just kind of that's how he come across. So between Frank Fletcher and Mark McKay, within a 3 week span, we just did two country artists, whether they're up and coming or not, that blew my mind because again, like you just said, I'm not a country guy. But
right, and Mark gave us cool insight because he had toured with 38 Special, he had toured with Night Ranger, so he was opening for rock acts with his brand of country music, which was pretty cool.
yeah, showing us pictures, of
Uh,
the artists he was with.
yeah, and we talked to him later because like later down the road, and he was opening for Pat Benatar.
Yeah.
At the mill in
Mm-hmm.
Terre Haute.
Well, it's either there or up at Brown County. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, either one, but that was really cool. So this is a guy that's got a crossover appeal as a young country artist, and he's getting picked up by rock acts to do opening slots.
So. I'm sorry. I have to read what the Viper just put. Yeah, pull your strings, Vipe. See what you got. After we got done with some country music, this one went round and around because I was like, "There's no way." This isn't. I didn't think this one would happen. For me, it was a big deal. I think it was for you as well. For some of the listeners, it wasn't just because it's the whole persona of professional wrestling. But when you actually get the opportunity to get someone like Mark Marrow, who went from Johnny B. Bad, and all of these things that he did in professional wrestling, to now speaking to kids and having these engagements where kids listen, talking about bullying and all this stuff. And Mark Marrow puts out this message of positivity to kids, and is literally, I believe, making his living off of doing this now.
Right, and he's well known in that motivational speaker field, and he does a lot of schools. He tours all the time doing school speeches, and he's quite popular
Yeah.
doing it. And our conversation with him was really, really good because we didn't want it to be just about wrestling. We wanted to also help him put his message out
Right.
that he was trying. And we didn't get maybe 35 minutes with him. I think 40 minutes. I think something like that.
We made it an hour.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I mean that's just what the
Well,
timer says. I don't know. I didn't look at the actual video.
no, you and I finished up,
Okay.
and but what I like about Mark, I don't think I've told this story on the air, but I was given his phone number by a friend who had booked him for a school. And she just sends me Mark Marrow's phone number. And I'm like, all right. Normally when we contact these
Cold call.
right, a cold call, normally we email a publicist or yeah, sometimes you get lucky and get the artist themselves in an email or something. No, I just cold called Mark Marrow and he picked up. He picked up on the second ring. I'm like, hey, is this Mark? Yeah, it's Mark Marrow. Let me make my pitch.
When you told me that, I was like, yeah, no, you didn't. And
Yeah.
then as you continued telling, I was like, oh my damn, you did.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't
Right.
going to do the show, but I was able to convince him.
Very persistent.
Persistent, and when we were done, he told us he would come back.
Yeah. Which was good. I mean, that's something good for us because if you start off saying, yeah, probably not going to do it, and then you turn around at the end and say, bruh, I'll come back to see you guys, then that's good. It's either they loved us or it was Natalie. So, yeah, it was us. It was us. I'm going to speed this along because we're taking up the entire hour. It was not too long after Mr. Mark Marrow, few weeks, maybe a month, that we ended up getting Rick Emmett, which
Oh, my
was
favorite.
another mind blowing. I don't like to call it an interview, conversation.
Right. That's what we like to call these. We're not interviewing per se. We are trying to converse with these people.
Right.
Rick was great. I mean, he's one of my favorite guitarists, one of my favorite singers. And just to listen to him tell stories for an hour, over an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, he stayed and talked to us after the show for another 15 minutes.
Yeah. We stopped the show at probably an hour, hour and one, something like that. And then, like you said, 10, 15, 20 minutes, we're still yapping. And it was like, oh, well, hey, we'll let you go. And he's like, oh, well, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
We're not on the air, right? Okay, well, listen, let me tell you this story. And we were just sitting there like, like we're bros. We're just having a conversation. We don't
Right.
do
Well,
that.
and that was the guy I was talking about that had the different perspective on Mike Levine's stories, and that was fun to hear because Rick had just put his book out, Lay It on the Line, and it was just great to sit and talk to him. When we did that interview, I could have been done doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I could have
Just
been done.
It had just been the Weekly Poor podcast with TPT. And it would have been it. And it would have been as fun because I wouldn't have nobody to talk to. From Rick from Rick Emmett, we went a couple weeks, and then we got Sammy Lee of Red Rain, which was
great.
very fun. Red Rain still out doing some touring. They've come relatively close, but Sammy was, he's just one of us. He's one of the guys. Just laid back, father, and he's out touring. He's very close to our age, and he's just in a local band, and they put out good music.
Right, and they put that record out. They put out two, I think, an EP and a full length record, I think. And these guys take vacation time from their real jobs to go tour with big bands in the summer. That's what they set a block aside. We've all got 4 weeks vacation. We're doing it now. And
okay,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that blue collar ethic. Because who knows how long he'll be able to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and his love of Van Halen and my love of Van Halen, that was great because we just pushed you out of the conversation.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, hey, call me when you guys are done. We ended up going country again when we had country music newcomer Cody Howell on the show. Cody is fresh, very fresh. I think when it comes to interviews, conversations, stuff like that. But you know what? He's getting his name out there, trying to get some more recognition. Do what?
I'll tell you that he's authentic. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was on. Gosh, what did I see him on not too long ago? I don't remember what it was, but he's still doing it. He's not just saying, okay. I only have so many followers and I'm done. He's still pouring into it, which is what we like. Um, we had some very loud music on a couple weeks later when we had the lead singer of Second Shooter. That was my first. I don't want to say first, but it was Melanie X and Jeff Clark, both from Second Shooter. They were our first Beyond Metal guest, or really our only Beyond Metal.
That would be your alt metal type.
Yeah. What a great team. I mean, we had both of them on plus the two of us, and that was fun and exciting. To kind of hear the feedback from a female vocalist outside of Cassandra, outside of Leather, who we had already talked to, and then here we are talking to Melanie, and she's got a heck of a unique voice. It is beyond what Leather, Cassandra. It's yeah, it reminds me of what Kathy would sound like in the morning before coffee. We then went up to Brian Allen of Bridges Ablaze. Brian, unfortunately, was sort of sick, battling a cold. We didn't get Ruben with him because Ruben was actually sick. I don't remember if it was the vid or whatever it was, but he was sick. Brian Allen was getting sick. They continue to pour out music.
But we pulled a good conversation out of him.
Absolutely.
Once he got going,
ridiculous amount of guitar that the two of them produce between the two of them that are on their songs. Any of these guests that we've had on, I highly recommend that you follow them. Get their music. When they put an album out, get with Kathy and get them. But support these guys because that's what they need. And then probably one of your top three, Jim Peterick, who we had on. Holy crap!
I just got chills.
You did. I saw it.
I did.
And my air conditioner just kicked on.
Jim Peterick, formerly of the band Survivor.
Yeah.
I watch what I say there because they're always in a lawsuit there. But
well, and that's something funny to bring up because you had to shoot me a text about an email.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what?
And his management sent us an email like, hey, take everything down. Take everything down.
Only because we mentioned the television show Survivor.
Well, and plus, I don't know that Jim can mention Survivor, that he was in Survivor. I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, we don't know them. We don't write them.
We just make the promos.
Yeah.
But Jim was really fun because he sang every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Keep going.
He had his guitar and like, hey, we like this song by your band. Oh, cool. Let me tell you about it. And he sings it. And he did that for an hour.
Yeah. We could have kept going with it. It's another one, old school guy. We could have kept going with him for freaking ever. Of course, we had Cassandra back on because Pearlander was getting ready to release their album. We had already heard it, thankfully. Killer album. Absolutely awesome. But between the release of that album and the tours and the videos that they were putting out, which are hilarious, Cassandra was more than happy to join us again. And she had mentioned something about the Life Project getting work done, and it wasn't probably 2 or 3 weeks later. There's news splashed across all the freaking, rock news sites that something's going on. They got some music wrote and all that. So she kind of told us a little bit closely. It was a week after that. My old school mentor and current author Dick Wybrow, we had him on. Dick was phenomenal. Another person that we almost went an entire hour and a half. His stories are just crazy. They're good, but they're logical. Dick Wybrow, one of my best buds. Really appreciated him being on. And he doesn't need to give up the whole stand-up comedy thing because he could totally keep doing it. Very funny. And he's living in the future.
Right. Right. Because he's in New Zealand.
Right. So lottery numbers from him immediately. Dick was actually the last guest we had on the show before summer hit and everybody started touring.
Right. Everyone's touring, and getting a guest it's hard. It's hard.
Or getting, well, it's not hard to get a guest, but getting one that fits this show's the hard part. But we're still doing it. We're still looking for people. We've got some feelers out there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm trying to get Corey Feldman. I don't know if
he just did a concert.
He's opening for Limp Bizkit.
He's opening for Limp Bizkit. A mutual friend of ours just saw him, and I asked him about it. You know, like, what was that all about?
I didn't even think about that. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know he was single either, but yeah.
Yeah, he is. And he did not know who Corey Feldman was. His buddy had to tell him, who he was. And he said, I guess it was all right. But I don't take that opinion seriously. I'd have to see it for myself.
Right. There's been plenty I've seen. It's interesting. But here's the thing that I like about Corey Feldman. No matter what anybody says, media, press, whatever, he's still going out there and doing it.
Kathy said she'll come
I
back.
saw what she said.
Just letting you know.
I was going to wait till the end. But
yeah,
he still does it no matter what. He's not the perfect, band out there, but he's doing what he wants to do. And last time I checked, this podcast isn't opening up for Limp Bizkit, so he must be doing something right.
Right. I mean, I don't know how that happened, but good for him.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you to all of our guests who have been on and all the ones that we will get on, because it's been a blast. This is episode 100, and our next goal is 500. So in about 6 years, I'm giving us 6 years, we'll hit 500 unless we start doing like one every day.
You know what's really cool? Of course, having guests is great. It's also cool having a partner that I can communicate with, and we can banter and we have a good time. Even if we don't have a guest, it's fine.
Yeah.
What is even better is this chat that is religiously with us every week.
Yes.
And I can't convey how much I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And as much crap as we give her, Natalie is probably the second best moderator we could have ever had. You know who I want to get for a moderator? That's Britney Spears.
But what would she do the whole time?
She would probably tell everyone to F off, and she would dance.
Right.
So if you follow any of Britney Spears' socials, you know that she posts videos of herself dancing, whether it be topless or with knives. She randomly posts some interesting dance videos.
Every day, all the time.
Yeah. With
Where
that,
does she get her energy?
Where does she get her dance moves? I don't know. But with that comes a little bit of criticism from none other than Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, on his latest episode of his podcast.
He's concerned.
Called The Osbournes. According to Blabbermouth, our resident news source, Ozzy says that her dancing clips are sad. Very sad. Very sad. I don't know. And Sharon says the same thing. It seems to me that TikTok, when it first started, were people doing silly dances. But now it's developed into so much more, obviously. Ozzy goes on to say, I'm fed up seeing poor old Britney Spears on YouTube. But he clarified he's discussing her dancing. So every effing day, as Ozzy stated, it's sad. Very, very sad. It didn't take long.
Why is Ozzy watching? Why is he following Britney?
See, that's the question. Unfollow her, Ozzy.
That's the answer.
Well, Britney answered just a few days later. She addressed the Osbournes' comment in a lengthy post on Instagram. All of the stuff erased except for the most important part where she says, I'm going to tell the Osbourne family, who is the most boring family known to mankind, to kindly F off. That is why I want Britney as a moderator.
Because that's what she would tell people?
Yeah, F off. Just bye-bye. Natalie bans people. She just like, boom, click, you're done. You're out. But she doesn't type it, haha, you're out. F off. Britney will. Can you imagine Britney and Natalie together as moderators?
They would just dance.
I've got Mrs. TBT as a standby moderator in the event that Natalie is late or doesn't show up or forgets where she's at. Could you imagine Britney? I'm doing it.
She forget that she was here.
And dance.
And she would dance.
If I were them, if I was Ozzy, I would send Britney a personalized copy of the now available Ozzy Osbourne coloring book.
Right. Why is it even out? I mean, what is this one of those adult coloring books, for adults that helps their mental stability or creativity or stimulates your intellectual stimuli?
It brings out your inner Batman.
Okay.
Yeah. So this coloring book was released today. Revisit his entire solo discography through intricate illustrations by the award-winning Fantoons animation studio. Get ready for a unique book featuring Ozzy and the universe he built throughout his unmatched career. It is the perfect gift for casual diehard fans alike. Get ready for a crazy train ride. A must-have for Ozzy fans around the globe. Disclaimer. This is dumb, but whatever. Bats not included. I don't think it's funny. But whatever. Released today, it is now available on Amazon, and it is a mega coloring book with 72 pages.
That's what I said earlier to you. That's long. That's a lot of pages.
72 pages. Did we just get dropped for a taco?
We did. We did.
Yeah. So go to Amazon right now. Get your 72-page coloring book from Ozzy. A couple things we need to bring up before we end this evening. I know we're running over time, but you know what? That's kind of what happens when it's your 100th episode. You get to do what you want. One of the things we didn't get to touch on last week that we wanted to was the unfortunate announcement from great white singer Jack Russell. He's been diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, and I have no idea what that is, but he has officially announced his retirement from touring. Doesn't say anything about from music, but he just states that he's done touring. In a release from Jack Russell, he says, "To my fans and friends, it is with the heaviest of hearts that I must announce my retirement from the road. After a recent diagnosis of Lewy body dementia and multiple system atrophy in May of 2024, so just a couple months ago, I am unable to perform at the level I desire and at the level you deserve. Words cannot express my gratitude for the many years of memories, love, and support. Thank you for letting me live my dreams. You have made my life a wonder." Lewy body dementia is the second most common cause of neurodegenerative dementia after Alzheimer's disease. So it impacts the memory, decision making, and the ability to solve problems. and has led to the motor and muscle weakness and rigidity. Rigidity. That's the word. It also can cause sleep disorders, hallucinations, and all that. As a matter of fact, after Robin Williams took his life back in August of 2014, the autopsy revealed that he was also suffering from LBD, or Lewy body dementia. So it's a serious thing. Affects a rock star that that we essentially listened to his entire career.
You've got to feel something for Jack Russell because his health issues are well documented,
right?
And not just this Lewy body dementia. What was it? 2010. He had a broken hip and his colon exploded, perforated.
That hip was shattered. It was a shattered hip.
Shattered hip. Which he blamed on his alcohol abuse and his drug abuse.
Yep.
And that has affected him ever since in the way he walks, his everyday life.
Yeah, this addiction is exactly what kept him from continuing on with Great White. I think it was Mark Kendall recently in an interview. He stated, hey, I still love him. We're still brothers. But he had some demons. He had these addictions, and it was time for him to move on because basically all they were doing was just watching him kill himself.
Right. If you're not going to help contribute to the band and you're just going to kill yourself, then we can't be productive together. Yep. It doesn't mean you have to not be friends, but these things get personal. When people get kicked out of bands and lawsuits ensue. I mean, they went through a big lawsuit themselves. That's why we have Great White and Jack Russell's Great White. And good on Jack Russell for touring through all these health issues. And now he's just come to a point where it's not going to be possible. He's got to focus on whatever he can do to maintain his faculties for the time being, whatever that is. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible disease.
Right.
It's not a good thing, for him.
Yeah. And Natalie points out that she lost a family member to it. So, I mean, that hits close to home. And for somebody to have to give up what they do every day, what they've done for, decades. Right. I mean, that's got to be telling you something.
And he was able to perform at lots of these shed tours in the summer. He was able to do theater shows. And we saw him last summer. And honestly, in all honesty, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering his age, his health, all of that stuff. He still was a pretty good singer and a pretty good performer, and very grateful to still be doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And something you were going to mention last week is he also just put out an autobiography.
Right. Long awaited, it says.
Yeah. The True Tale of Mr. Bone, a rock and roll narrative, was released, I think a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. There's a foreword in it by Lita Ford, additional commentary from Eric Singer, Eddie Trunk, Kip Winger, and others. Tons of photos. I have yet to get the book yet. I just said yet twice. Whatever. I've not gotten it. I want to get it. I know you can check it out at jackrussellbook.com.
Yeah.
But very intriguing. I'm sure that book is probably going to be well worth reading.
Well, what's interesting, he says that people have asked him if he's going to dish any dirt in this autobiography. And he says, you know what? I said a few things that some people are going to lift their eyebrows at, but pretty much I kept most of the dirt under the rug. There's no point in pointing fingers and calling people out on that stuff. I mean, everybody's got skeletons in their closet, and probably me more than most. So what's the point in taking bullshit about other people, talking bullshit about other people, when you don't necessarily need to? So he's saying he doesn't need to fill up his book with a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
So I'm still sure it's going to be a really, really good read. Especially during the heyday of Great White. What were they before that? Dante Fox.
Yeah.
In their, LA Strip days. So stuff like that would be fun to read about anyway.
Exactly. It'll be good. July 12th is when that book came out. So we're looking at 12 days ago, 11 days ago, whatever. 368 pages. Get it. It's available at all your bookstores, all the ones you can think of anyway. I don't know if there's any around anymore, but there are. Amazon's there. Amazon bookstore. Yeah. $34. I don't know. It's in my Amazon commercial. And last but not least, I sent this to you earlier in the week because for me, this was significant because this is someone who's been in a band for 15 years. If you listen to Butcher Babies, which you may not, dual female band, they parted ways with Carla Harvey. Carla Harvey was one of the singers in the band. She'd been with them for 15 years, I think 5 albums, 2 EPs, and she basically just, according to the release, she said, after 15 years of dedication, I wanted to let you know that I will not be rejoining the band for any future endeavors. I'm super proud of my work with Butcher Babies, 2 EPs, 5 full-length albums, and countless tours with our metal heroes. To all of our incredible Butcher Babies friends and fans, you have provided me with some of the greatest experiences of my life. I have loved every second of writing and performing all over the world for you. I've loved meeting you. I still can't believe this kid from Detroit got so lucky. I'm not done making music and performing. I will see you soon. My prediction, there's your new Skid Row singer. Totally not true. I just had to mention Skid Row. Yeah.
Did it say why they were parting ways?
Nope. I didn't even get to the proverbial creative differences. Nothing.
Not tired of this or tired of that, just nothing.
No, nothing. Just nothing. She's also dating or engaged to Charlie from Anthrax. Anthrax's drummer. Yep. So I thought it was interesting. Not everybody's a big fan of Butcher Babies, but I like it. Dual vocalist, female vocalist.
Well, your point to me was how significant it was because that person had been in that band 15 years. That's a long, long time. And that establishes the sound of that band. Even though they had dual singers, it's still part of the sound of that band.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing.
No, exactly. We've hit our time limit, so we're leaving. This is episode 100. Again, we want to thank everybody who listens, thank everybody who watches live. Of course, everybody in the chat, like Ace already put out, because without you guys, we would literally have no reason to do this other than it's the only time we get a chance to chit chat. And this is what we chat about normally anyway, so why not bring it to you guys? Every person that we've had on as a guest, we appreciate. I'm going to have to do a shout out to one of the original third member of the Weekly Pour when we first started, Paco. We hope you're doing good. We thank you for what you provided to us in the beginning. But yeah, here we are.
Being willing to jump in and do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 100 down, who knows how many to go. If you got somebody you think we should get, send an email to us, send one to them. I've not said that in a while. If you haven't want an email to us, send it to theweeklypourpodcast@gmail.com. Been a while. Get on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, except for today because they're being douches. Can I say that? Maybe that's what's banned. It's not Freak Show. Yeah. That's all right. Hey, do you want to hear one more life lesson?
One more. Give me one more.
So, I went to the store yesterday.